Hello everyone. So welcome to the Introduction to Python lecture series. This is the second lecture of our series, and we will be starting in another 2 minutes. Let's just wait for a few more people to join us, and then we can start with it. Okay. So so maybe before starting with the lecture, we can discuss who we are. We are a AI community in India where we develop AI thinking among individuals by sharing content related to how AI is used in society. So, if you want to know what kind of content we are sharing, follow us on Instagram or Telegram or WhatsApp. In the next slide, we will find the link for all of those platforms. So, our main goal is to help thinkers develop tech startups in India. So basically, so let's say if you are facing some difficulty in mentorship or some other thing related to the tech thing, so we provide free mentorship to the students, and we help you write code to solve real problems. So for example, if you are working on blind assistance, if you want to use technology in that, we will assist you, or maybe we will give you guidance how you can use technology in your work. We, along with that, we also give courses on machine learning. These are the three of the courses that we have already given till now. And this introduction to Python lecture series is also a part of it. So since this is only an introductory lecture, so that if you don't know about programming or Python, you can learn that so that you can start a career in machine learning. So join our community on Telegram, Instagram, or if you want to know about other platforms like WhatsApp, Facebook, so you can go with this link. And we started this community on Quora. This is our Quora link where we are around 15,000 followers, maybe more than that. And if you want to know who is your instructor, go to my work profile, which is available at the link at the end of this slide. So it's already 11:06. Maybe I think I will wait one more minute and then we can start. So meanwhile, you can follow us on Instagram, which is thinkml_AI, and Telegram, which is think_AI. So maybe in another 1 minute, we will start with it. Okay, so let's just start with the lecture. So to continue with this lecture, what you should already know is basic programming experience. But if you have if you don't have the experience, I think that will also work. I tried to cover the very basics of programming yesterday in the lecture, and today we will see a few advanced topics where which you can use in machine learning and can benefit a lot by representing your data in different kind of data structures that we will be discussing today. Some of the useful references that you can leverage to learn Python are these links, and also there is a course on Coursera, Python for Everybody, which is highly beneficial if you are starting with a career, starting with programming from zero. Then I think this is a good thing. So the textbook that we will be following is like Python for Everybody, exploring data in Python 3, and is available for free at this link. Yes, if you are like planning to read a book for programming, then you can follow this link and download a free ebook. So tools that we will be using in this lecture, it's totally same as yesterday. We will be using Google Collaboratory, which is a Google Cloud platform which hosts Python notebooks. It also provides you free GPU and TPU access. If you are running some deep learning code, then it will be very helpful for you. The main advantage of this Google Colab notebooks is that you don't have to buy a very powerful machine. Okay, everything will work on the Google Cloud, and it will help you run your code in a very minimal time. So it just requires a Chrome tab or maybe a browser's tab to access your Google Collaboratory. Alternatively, you can also use PyCharm, Jupyter Notebook, or directly work in command line if you are very familiar with Python. And if you want to set up Python in your machine, then follow the instructions at python.org. They have provided each and every details of installing and setting up Python in Windows, Linux, or Mac OS. You can also explore Anaconda to set up virtual environments for your work. And Jupyter notebooks are highly great in terms of working on machine learning. I think most of the people are using these now. Okay, and like Google Collaborator is based on these notebooks only, and we will be using it so that we don't have to do any setup on the local machine. We will work everywhere. We will do everything on the Google Colab. Okay, so our goal in this lecture series is to help you know Python for machine learning. Okay, so in the first two lectures, we will be like talking about basic and advanced topics in Python. Like yesterday, we gave you basic introduction of programming and Python. Today, we will talk about some advanced data structures and also like how to do data visualization in Python. Okay, in the next weekend, we will be like talking more about Python for machine learning, where we will be talking about some machine learning concepts and like how you can solve real problems to like to start a career in machine learning. So I think the future, every industry is moving towards machine learning and data science so that they can get insight from the data and can do better at their business. So like we also plan to give a certificate if you attend all the four lectures. Okay, and at the end of this lecture, we will share a feedback link. Just share your feedback with us so that like we will know who has attended this lecture, and it will also help you to give you valuable feedback so that we can improve and also to help you gain a certificate for yourselves. Okay, so the lecture series, the details of the registration for the next week's lecture, that is when lecture 3 and 4 will be shared on our group. So join us on Telegram or Instagram if you haven't done so that you can receive regular updates about what lectures are coming up. So if you want to continue this lecture series, please join us on Telegram and Instagram and receive regular updates about the lecture series. Okay, so this was about our community, and so what you will learn today is like firstly about advanced data structures, which are like list, tuple, dictionary, etc. in Python. And then we will also talk about some object-oriented concepts. Like we will only focus on classes and objects, and other topics I think you can refer from a book. But classes and objects are highly important if you are working on a real problem. Okay, so we'll see how you can work on classes and objects. Then we will talk about NumPy, which is a highly efficient and highly useful library for numerical operations. We'll see how to do that. And then data visualization, like how you will plot a particular data, how will you analyze some trend, like what is it like can be used to play with the data and to visualize the data. And we will be using matplotlib for you. And then I will leave you with a few take home exercises so that you can leverage whatever we have learned in this lecture, so that you can work on your own thing, and then you can see like how to code in Python. Okay, so so first we will start with string indexing and slicing. Maybe let me just show you the Google Colab notebook. uh, where is it? Okay, so this is my Google Colab notebook. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we'll see, and then we'll come back to this whenever we need it. So first, like yesterday, we talked about strings, which is a class to represent text data. So we can create a string variable to store some textual information. So for example, this is my string variable where I'm saying my string equals to reference. So that means I've created a string variable and I have stored in the memory the reference value in it. Okay, so we talked yesterday that Python doesn't have data types. So you can yeah, you don't have to specify the data type of the variable here, because Python already knows what kind of data you are specifying, so it automatically performs everything for you. So to access individual element of the string, like what we can do is we can use you can use square brackets. So for example, my string 0 and my string 3 will return R and E. So index in Python starts from 0. So in the string reference, the zeroth character is R. First is E, second is F, and then third is E. So it is printing in this sense. So if you want to access a part of the string, or like it is also called a slice in Python or a substring in common language. So what we can do is we can use a colon operator, and we can specify a range. So for example, if I'm saying my string square brackets 2 colon 5, that means we are saying 2 to 5. And in the Python, the everything before the colon is taken, and everything after the colon is not taken. So we'll say its output is FER. So that means second index is F, third index is E, fourth index is R, fifth is not taken. Okay, so to access elements, we can specify a range using colon. So for example, 2 to 5 generates 2, 3, 4. So that means the element after colon is not taken. Okay, so so that means it is like, let's say if I'm saying I colon j, so it is I to j minus 1. Okay, so this is how we will be using strings. So strings are immutable in Python. It means the data in the string cannot be changed. So for example, let us see uh, this thing. But okay, so like the data, already existing data cannot be changed, but in a whole new value can be assigned to the same variable. So for example, let's say this is our string. We can't modify any of the position of the existing string. This is not allowed in Python. Okay, but we can assign a completely new value, because it will be stored in a new memory location. So that's a different thing. And then it is a like highly valuable thing, like immutable and mutable data sets, data structures. So we will talk about a few other mutable and immutable data structures, so stay tuned. So okay, so this was about the representation of the string. Now let's just see what is it that we can do. So for example, let's say if you are working on something, some textual data in your code, so how is it that we can perform some operations? So like the string class in Python provides several methods so that you can modify or you can uh, do some operations on these strings. So for example, let's say again our string is my string. So let's say you want to know, let's say you want to know the index of a character in the string. So for example, the index of character E. Okay, there are four E's in this string. So what you can do is you can use dot index method. So if you do my string dot index and then in brackets the character that you want to know about the location, so it will return its location. So the output is one here. So my string dot index E. So it will return the index for the first character that it will find. Okay, so if you want to find the index of a substring, so for example here it was the first E, but if you want to find the index of ERE, which is the second E, so it will be 3. Okay, so dot index method can be used to find the index of a character or a substring in the string. Okay, so it is required to identify it. So for example, let's say if you have entered an email address, so it will be used to find whether your email the email address you have taken contains at the rate or not, contains gmail.com or not, or contains your domain or not. Okay, so these are the useful things that you can do with this method. So if you want to convert all things to the uppercase or lowercase. So for example, let's say if you are asking a user to enter its name or maybe its ID, and the ID is alphanumeric, and people have a habit to enter capitals, small letters, and other things. So let's say if you are doing some conditional statement to check whether the name or the ID is correct or not. So what you can do is you can change the case to all upper or all lower, and then see whether it matches your input or not. So like similarly, there is a dot lower method to convert all to the lower case. So if you want to count the number of occurrences of a particular substring, you can use dot count method, and in the brackets you have to specify the substring. Okay, so my string dot count the substring. So the number of occurrences of E here is 4. Okay, so you also need to try a few other things with these methods and see whether like it returns well or not. So for example, let's say if you don't specify a substring, it will return an error. Okay, so you need to specify a substring for sure, otherwise it will throw an error. Okay, so if you want to check what all other methods are provided in the string class, you can use the dir function, and see it will list all the attributes and the methods of that class. So I would like to show it. So for example, let's say, okay, so let's say if I do it dir str, okay, so this is the thing. Okay, so these are the methods that it is provided. So for example, count is a method here, format is a method. We will be talking about format in the next slide. So index is a method, is alphanumeric or not, is alphabetical or not, is decimal or not. Like these are the some of the methods that are provided. So for example, is upper is there, there is lower is also there somewhere. Okay, and so there is a strip method, left strip on right strip and strip, which can be used to strip spaces in the string. Okay, so you need to check its documentation, and you can make use of these methods and can perform several operations in the. So for example, let's say if you are asking enter so let's say if we ask the user to enter your name, so please enter your name. Okay, and if we will give access if name equal to let's say Narendra, so we will give access. Okay, you are we provide access to you. Okay, else. Okay, so denied, access denied. Okay, so the users have habit to enter like small case, lower case, and everything. Okay, so let's say if I enter Narendra. Okay, so it is like access denied, but like I have entered the right name. So what we can do is we can use something called uh, name dot, let's say upper. Okay, and we can check it with this. Okay, now let's say if I enter let's say Anil. Okay, oh sorry, Narendra. I have to enter the Narendra only. Like whatever I will do, it will it should. Okay, we provide access to you, so that's why like we need to use a few of these methods. Let's say if I, okay, let's just use a small name. Okay, so let's say if I enter spaces into it, space Anil, right? So like then also it will not do it. So what we need to do is we can do strict. Okay, okay, we provide access to it. So these are the things that we generally use. So that's why like these methods are very important. So for example, like swap case is also one of the important method, and like there is like you can replace some substring here, and like there are many other things that you just see the documentation of string class. Okay, many other useful methods are available. For example, dot lower, dot strip, dot ends with a string, whether your string that you have entered, whether it ends with the gmail.com or not, whether it ends with your domain or not, or maybe it's maybe for some other application. Okay, is numeric, join, so you can join different substrings with some array, so with something, right? And dot split. So you have to check the documentation of dot split. So sorry, dot split and dot join, and then see how you can use it for your application. Okay. So another useful operation with string is string formatting. So for example, let's say if I have used a name and roll number, I want to print both of them in a string. So instead of printing everything again and again, so what we can do is we can write a string, and we can write it like braces has braces roll number. So let's say if you want to print the same thing, that like Narendra has this 2021 roll number, and you also have another student Anil which has some other roll number 1234. So if you want to print these things for all the students, so what you can do is you can use this kind of formatting instead of printing for every student other things. So you can use this line and use a for loop. So braces has braces roll number. So dot format. So first braces will take roll number, second braces will take first braces will take name, second braces will take roll number. Okay. So if you print my string in this case, it will print Narendra has 2021 roll number. Okay. Another formatting tip is, let's say if you have if you also want to print marks, let's say these are 58.6951, which is like a very weird marks, but let's say if you want to print Narendra with roll number, uh, this has these many marks. So like if you print this, it will print that like this one. But let's say if you want to print only two values after the decimal, so what you can do is you can use this. You can just specify a colon point. That means after point you want two values which are floating point. Okay. Okay. So this is how we will print, and it will output only 58.70. Sorry, there should not be any dollar here. I made a mistake here. Okay. Okay, so this was all about the strings, and I think it will value you a lot in your applications, because strings are very useful data structures in any of the application. Okay, so there is another important data structure is list, which is collection of elements, and like we generally call these sequence of elements of any type in Python. So basically, like list tuple are sequence of elements. Okay. So lists are immutable. That means you can modify the content of the list after creation. So let's say this is my list. I have created, like, we can add any kind of data. So like most of you have heard about arrays, which can only store homogeneous data. That means if it's a string array, it will only store strings. If it's a like integer array, it will only store integers. If it is a floating array, it will only store floating values. So but in list you can store any type. It's a heterogeneous data structure. If you print it, it will show it like this. And we represent strings by square brackets. So if you want to know about the type of any list, so any variable, just type use type method, and it will show you which class it belongs to. It belongs to list class. To the number of elements of the list, you just use a method len, and in the brackets my list, it will print the number of elements of the list. The operations, like, so you must have used 2 plus 2 equals to 4. Now let's just see what plus operator can do with lists. So so it is like, let's say if we use another list y, which is equals to 1 2 3. If we do my list plus y, my list is this, and it will output, it will just concatenate the plus operator, like strings, it will concatenate the two lists. So plus operation can do addition with the integer and floating point values. It performs concatenation with lists and strings. So, and it gives an error if you use two different data types, like two different operands. So two operands with different data types. Okay, so this is the right thing. Another is like repetition. Let's say if you want to repeat one content of the list, so what you have to do is just use the multiplication operator. So my list into 4, that means it will like make the size of the my list 4 times, and it will repeat its element again and again. So this is the first time, second time, third time, and the fourth time. Okay, isn't it this great? So how to perform some repetition and concatenation operations just by overriding some existing operators. Okay, so this is how beautiful lists are in Python. So a few other list operations are like, let me just talk about. So let's say this is a list that we have created. What you can do is, if you want to add another value at the end of the list, you can use append method. Okay, so my list dot append 54, like if you print it, what will it do? It will append 54 at the end of the list. So if you will print it, so just see other the existing 4 values, and it has added 54 at the end. So if you want to do insertion in between anything, in between the elements of the list, so what you can do is you can use dot insert method, which takes the index and the value. So that means, let's say if we do my list dot insert, at the index 1 we want to enter 34. So if you print it, what it will do is, so since the index starts from 0, so 0th index is a, at the first index will be our 34, and everything after that will be shifted after 34. So at the first index we have inserted 34, and 12 is shifted to second, and so on the other elements. Okay. So what if the index value is greater than the length of the string? So for example, the length was 4 here. Let's say if I do 10 comma 34, what will it do? So just check it, try it on your own, and then see like what it do. Okay, so it will not throw an error. Like, let me just tell you the answer. It will just append it at the end of the list. So this is how beautiful Python is. If you do something like extra, it will just like make you do only what is there. So there is another method dot pop, which removes the last element. So for example, like it has removed the last element from the my list. So our list was this thing. At this point of time, it will remove the last element. So you can also remove the element in between. So let's say if I want to remove 12th element, so it will remove the 12 in this. Okay. So what if multiple occurrences of that value are there? Just check it on your own. Okay, so will it remove everyone or will it only remove the first occurrence of it? Okay, so let me just show you. Okay, I think it's very easy, right? Just check it, it will remove the first occurrence only. Okay, so this was about lists. So now another important data structure in Python is a tuple. So which is also a sequence of elements, but that are immutable. So that means you can't change the tuple once created. Okay, so it is required. Like the one question you may ask is like, why do we need uh, a sequence of elements which can't be modified? So this is required when the elements in the sequence should not change in the code. So for example, let's say if you have an iterator, let's say if you have a list of students, okay, and you want to print the marks of those, so the list of students should not change, so you will create a tuple of it. So let's say if you create list of it and the programmer makes a mistake, the student entries will be modified and it's not good. So you just create a tuple of it, nothing can be modified, and just your print or whatever processing operation can be used, and the student information will stay intact. Okay. So for example, another example is that like Python uses tuples everywhere. So for example, let's say when you are returning multiple values from a function. So let's say if you are returning A, B, C, it is returning a tuple of that. Okay. So when you will receive it in the main function, so you are receiving a tuple of it. Okay. So let's just see it. Okay. Okay, or maybe let me just say about like how to represent a tuple. Tuple are represented by parentheses instead of square brackets. Okay, so let's say this is my tuple. It cannot be modified. So for example, let me just show you a few other operations other than that. Okay, so let's say if my tuple is, let's say if we create my tuple as to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, so let me just do print my tuple. Okay, so this is like, okay, so this is the thing. If you want to access one element of the tuple, so we will do the same thing. Let's say if you want to say what is the first index, so you will use this thing only. Okay, so to access the elements, we use square brackets only in any of the data structure in Python. Square brackets are used, whether it's a tuple, string, a list, array, or dictionary, or whatever it is. We always use square brackets to access the elements. Okay. Okay, so let's say if we want to modify an element in the tuple. So let's say if we want to place one to it, so it will throw an error. It says that this is an error. It is tuple object does not support item assignment. Okay, so you cannot modify. Okay, so what is it that we were talking about? We were talking about function. So let me create a function here. So how to create a function? We discussed it last time. We'll use def keyword and then my function name, my function. Okay, and then we will use colon, and then let's say if I create two values. Okay, so let's say if I return this, to return any value from the function we use. Okay, so let's just say a comma. Okay, so let's say if we want to add 2 to it, so b comma c. Okay, so let's just say this is what we want to do. So output. Okay, so it will be my function. Okay, so let's say 2. Let's just say we'll add a random. Okay, so let's just import random. Okay, we'll let us add a random value to it. Dot rand. Sorry. Okay. So we want to print what is the output and what number was added. So, okay. Output and the random number that was added. Okay. So we will print output. Okay, sorry for it. So let's say if we want to generate a number between 1 to, let's say, 10. Okay. Okay. So it says that the output is 9 and the number that was added was 7. Okay. So you can see that it's a parenthesis. That means the output is a tuple. Okay. So what we can do is we can also return it in the two variables. So a comma b. So okay, so this is like 8 was added. This time the random number was 8 and the value that was the output was 10. Okay. So this is how we do it. So basically, like I just wanted to say that like output of the functions is also tuple. So the tuples. So for example, as I gave you an example that like you create a sequence of elements which should not be modified. So for example, the list of students or the tuple of the sequence of students. So you can use these are like tuples are mainly used in the iterations in the for loop. So for example, you can use enumerate method which will return the index and the value. So for example, the first index is the zeroth index is A. So it will return 0 comma 1 first and then 1 comma B and then 0 comma A, 1 comma B, 2 comma C and like that. So let's just say if we print it, it will print this out. Okay, so this is how we use enumerate in Python. Okay, another thing is like, let's say if you want to create a list from the tuple, what we will be doing is we'll be using this, like we call this comprehension in Python. Okay, this operation is comprehension where what we can do is we can use square brackets. So which represents that like it's a list and then for X in my tuple, we are using X. So the output of this is uh, this thing. So after this list is created, we can also modify its content. So that means lists are mutable. So that means we can modify its content. Okay, but tuples can't be modified. This my tuple can't be modified. New list can be modified. So this is sometimes confusing, but with practice, I think you will become very familiar with it. So just try this thing like again and again, so that you can access tuples and even create these comprehensions very conveniently. Okay, other basic tuple operations are like length operation. I think we already saw it with lists. This is also applicable in tuples. It will return the number of elements in it. So if you use the plus operation, it will concatenate like lists. So if you do use multiplication, it will do the repetition operation. So you can use this thing to find the occurrence of an element in the tuple. So it's like these basic tuple operations are same as what we were doing in lists. Okay, so to do indexing slicing is also similar as we have seen in strings. These are also applicable on list and these are also application on tuple. So if you are using square bracket and index element, it will return the index of the second index. So 0, 1, 2 is spam. Uh, this thing. And then, so another thing in Python, what you can do is you can provide the index with negative. So negative specifies that you are starting from the back. Okay, you are starting from the back. So starting from the back starts from 1. Okay, so it says -2. -2 means -1 this, -2 is this. So that means this will be returned. Okay, you can also do slice operation. That means you can use colon operator to specify a range. So it has written 1 colon. So you don't have to write the left or the right side. You can just specify. If you have not written anything on the right side, that means it is printing till the end. If you don't specify anything at the start, that means it will start from 0. Okay, so this is how. So this is a bit of practice, and I think you will become familiar with these things. I think if you are saying these things for the first time, I think this will be like a little confusing. But I think after a few of the like practice sessions, you will be clear with it. So I will give you some questions so that you can try these things and you will be familiar with the stuff. So building tuple methods are like comparison. If you want to compare elements of the two tuples, you can use CMP, length. There's a max, like if you want to return the max value in the tuple, minimum value, and like convert a list into tuple. So this is the thing that you can use. Okay, so this was all about dictionaries, lists, and tuple. Now the another important data structure is dictionary in Python. So okay, so I think before going with it, I would like to say you guys that like if you have any question, please feel free to write it in the comment box. I will try to answer these after I'm done with the lecture. If you have any query, please write a comment on it. Okay, so dictionaries are the data. Like it is also a sequence of data, but in the form of key value pair. Okay, it's not only a value; it's a key value pair. Like it's like a map. If you have seen hash maps and other things in other programming language, these are the things. So dictionaries are mutable. That means you can modify the data after creation. Okay, so for example, to create a dictionary, what you can do is you can also use inventory. Let's say if you want to specify inventory like of the stock that a shop has. So you can write inventory equals to these curly brackets. Okay, this is one method. Another method is like you can specify each element inside it. Inventory equals to shirts are 100 and pants are these things. Okay, shirts are like, so basically keys are mainly written in the string format, and then the colon and then the value. Okay, so this is how we specify the key value pair in the dictionary. So for example, like to access in individual element, we don't specify it with 0, 1, 2, 3, but with the key. Inventory, square brackets, shirts, it will return its value. Okay. So to add a new key, so let's say if you also want to add socks to the stock, so you can specify it in this way: inventory, square bracket, socks key equals to the value, which is 200. Okay, so to know all the keys, all the values, all the items, what we can use, we can use dot keys, dot values, dot items method. So dot keys will return only the keys, dot values will return only the values, dot items will return everything. Okay, so that means shirts are 100, pants are 150, and socks are 200. Okay. Sorry. So if you want to delete a key, you can use del keyword and then inventory and then the key value. If you want to delete pants, it will delete the pants out of it. Okay, so this is the output finally. Okay, built-in dictionary functions are comparison, compares elements of both the dictionaries. CMP, length of the dictionary is like you find how many entries are there. STR dictionary provides a printable string representation. Let's just try this method. Uh, I have created a dictionary already. Yeah, this is where I have created it. Okay, so okay, let me just copy paste it. Uh, okay, so this is the thing that we have as our dictionary, and we will print our dictionary first. Okay, and another thing we will print is str. So that means str inventory. Let's just see what it will print. Okay, so it is printing in the same way as we had it. So let's say if we want to print of shirts, okay, it will give the string of the value associated. So that means the output of this thing will be converted into a string. Okay, type of the variable. So basically if you do type here, it will specify that it's a dictionary. Okay, so it's an integer class because the value is of integer, but if you do this, it will specify its class, which is dictionary. Okay. Okay, so this was about dictionaries, and like another other useful methods are dictionary.clear, which removes all elements. dict.copy, which creates a copy of the dictionary. And like these are the other methods. I think you can see these are very useful sometimes. And I think like, so if you want to update dictionaries, if you want to access some of the other things, I think these are the things that you can do. Okay. So this was all about the advanced data structures in Python. Now let's just move towards some of the advanced concepts. So let's say if you want to create a game, okay, how will you do it? Okay, so before going to it, let's just understand a few of the object oriented programming concepts. Okay, so if I'm moving too fast or too slow, please like stop me in between by sending a comment. I will try to like make it as okay. And like the different kinds of fruit like apple, oranges, grapes, etc., can be its objects. Another class could be apple. Okay, so because it's also a concept, there are different kind of apples are there. So I don't know the many names of the apples, but there is a red apple, green apple, there is black apple as well. So I don't know the name of the, but like there are different things. So basically the class apple can specify what the color is, what the flavor is. Okay, so one class could be the red apple. And like, so it can have attributes like what is the color and what is the taste of it. Okay, so you can say the color is red and the what we say flavor is sweet. Green apple is like color is green and the flavor is a little bit like uh, I'm not sure what kind of taste it is. Okay, whatever it is, like, so this is a like this is how you can represent the concept. Another example is could be like, so file in a is a class in a directory. So for example, let's say if you have directory, you have many files, the file is a class. Okay, so for example, you can have images into it, you can have text files into it, you can have many things. Okay, so file like, so basically each class has attributes and methods. Okay, so what are these? So for example, for the file class, attributes are name, size, date, permission, etc., etc. So that means the metadata of the file is the attribute. The methods is like, so you can read the file, you can modify the file, you can delete files, you can do other operations. Okay, so these are the methods. So file class provides these things. So files could be many things. Okay, so let's say we have a text file one, text file two. These are the two files, and like they have attribute, they have methods, and the file class support these things. Okay, each individual file is an object of the class. Okay, so the text file one, text file two is an object of the file class, and we can store different content into it. Okay, it means that each file has same type. That means the same class, but content is different. Okay, so this was about like understanding classes and objects. Like, let's just now move to the to how to see how to create a class. So to define a class, we use keyword class. In the functions we did def, but here we use class. C is small here, and the Python's notation convention is that the name of the class should start with a capital letter. So I have started it with my class, and my attribute is a kind of value of that class. So my attribute will be, let's say, A. So this is this. So, and to create an object of this class, what we will be doing is class object equals to my class. This is it what we can do. Okay. So now if we see the type of this class object, what it is the type of my class. So that means earlier we were saying that is a type of string, it is type of uh, list. Now it is that is a type of my class. Okay. So if you want to print its attribute, what we will be doing is we will be using dot operator. Okay, class object dot my attribute. Okay, so for example, let's say my class is a fruit class, and class object is the apple. So apple dot color, it will print itself. Okay, this is the attribute. Okay, so to create the file class, for example, we can use the same thing, and we can use this init underscore underscore init underscore underscore. It specifies a constructor which is called by itself. Okay, so self, so how we write it? Self comma name. So self represents that we are talking about the current object, okay, current instance of the class. Okay, self dot name equals to name. So file one equals to file assignment dot jpeg. So this is the name of file. So what we have done is, so this means that this init is called on its own, and the whatever argument that we have given in the class, in the brackets of the class name, so it will be considered here name. So self dot name means the attribute of this class name. The instance is file one, and which will be given to the name. Okay, so if we will just see, so underscore init underscore underscore init underscore underscore is a constructor of the class, and it is called automatically when the object is created. Okay, self represents the instance of the current object. So that means the current object is file one. Okay, so if we create file two, it will like store the attribute of the this thing. So let's just see this with an example. Okay, so this is the class that I have created. Okay, so this is I have created it. Okay, let me create another object. Maybe let's say file two. Okay, and I will name it assignment.jpg. Maybe let's say class.jpg. Okay, so not class. Maybe let's just say exam.jpg. Okay, so this is the thing. Now let's just say the name of that. The type of the things are same, but the name, just see the attribute values are different. That means content is different. Okay, so the self dot name is like different for the different objects. It is, the class is just providing a structure, and the object is using the instance of it. Okay. Okay, so see, right, it's a very beautiful concept to represent the real world stuff. So for example, if you want to represent shapes, you use classes. If you want to represent some fruits, classes. If you want to do some if you want to develop some game, right, you have to use a class. So let's just now move to creating a game. Let's just see how we can create it. Okay. Okay, so what I will be doing is I will be using a grid structure. Okay, so let's say I'm creating a 3x3 grid. I am representing the initial I will be asking the user to enter its initial position. Okay, so the initial position is this. In the constructor, what we will be doing is we will be defining 4 attributes. That means the maximum x position, maximum y position is 3. So since we want to do 3x3, okay, so it is 3 3. You can also write minimum x, maximum minimum y, but I'm assuming that these are always taken as 0 0. Okay, so the initial position is taken from the user, and at the start when the constructor is called, that means the object is created, we will also take its current position to the as the initial position. Okay, so now let's say we define a method of the class, so to move the player to the right location. Okay, so what we will be doing is like we need to check a condition. Okay, so I think I should have a visual representation here. I'm sorry, I don't have that. So I'm not sure if I can create a visual representation now. Mm. Okay, so let me just try to specify it. Okay, so what we will be doing is we need to check whether the uh, player is at the extreme right corner or not, because he can't go more right. He can't move more than 3 positions. So if the self dot current position, the one means the, so the position is in the xy coordinates. Okay, so the one means the yth location is greater than self. So then what we will be saying is position stays same, can't move, because it's the extreme right. Otherwise what we will be doing is self dot current, we will add 1 to it. So that means we will move it to the right. If you want to move the to the, we will do the same thing. I think I did a mistake here. It should be the x location, instead of 1 it should be 0. Okay, other things are same. Okay, so now let us say create a player. That means we will create an object of this class. Okay, the player equals to my game 0 0. So that means we have instructed the constructor to create the initial position to be 0 0. Okay, so let's just print the player dot current position. It will output 0 0. That means in the 3 cross 3 grid, player's position is 0 0. Okay, so now this let's just try to move the player to the right location. Okay, so player dot move right. What I have done is I have created a method of the class. Okay, I have called a method of the class player dot move right. That means this move right function of the class will be called. What it will do is it will move it to the right. Since it was 0 0, it will move to the right position 0 1. Okay, so let's just try to move it to the left. Okay, I've created this class already. Now let's just see how to do it. Okay, so this was a mistake. I think I will just rectify it. Okay, so this should be the 0 position. Okay, so let's just say create another player. Okay, I will create another player first. Okay, let's say we are saying that it is in the 0 0 position. Okay, now, okay, so let's just move to the move up. Okay, okay, sorry, this is the thing. Okay, so sorry for it. Okay, so we created one player with 0 0 location. We did not do anything with it. We just printed its current location. We created another player. We could have named it again anything, but it just overwritten it. Okay, so we created its initial position to be 2 2. When we ask it to move up, so that means the y location stays same, but x location is changed by 1. So it has moved 1. That means 1 2. Okay, we can also create a grid here and we can show the location visually, but I have not created it. I just wanted to give you an like introduction. So now I think we were talking about dir function. So dir function. So let's say if I do my class here, let's see what dir function returns is. It will return all the attributes and methods of. Okay, my game it is. Sorry, not my class. It is my game. Okay, so this is the whole attribute. These are default things. So underscore underscore are the default things which are called by itself if you specify it in the definition. So the methods of this class are move right, move left. Okay, if we check the dir of the player, it will return all the attributes and okay, so it is returning the attributes current location, initial location, max x, max y, and move right and move left. Okay, move up. Sorry. Okay, so this is the how beautifully you can create classes. I'm not going to the other concepts like inheritance and other things. Like in the book that I have provided a link in the one of the initial slide. I think you can refer to that, and it is very simple. I think I just wanted to give you an introduction how to represent classes and objects. Okay. I will give you a take-home exercise so that you can develop your skills with classes and objects a lot. Okay. So another thing is in Python, which is very very important, is NumPy, which is numerical Python. You can say it is used to perform some numerical operations like what people do in MATLAB. Okay. Okay. So the like what we will be doing is we will first we need to import numpy as like so basically like what import command does is it imports that package. NumPy is a package. Okay, it has different classes into it. Okay, each individual class has different attributes and different methods. Okay, so import, sorry, like import numpy as numpy. So instead of so let's say if we do import numpy, then all the methods need to be called numpy dot array, no numpy dot sort, like this. So instead of that we can use a shorthand notation, import numpy as np. So the Python interpreter will take np as everything related to numpy. So if you want to create an array in numpy, what we can use is an np dot array, and then we can specify its value. If you print A, it will return 1, 2, 3. You can also print multi-dimension array, and which are like highly efficiently represented in NumPy. If you also want to specify the data type, so let's say if I want to create an integer, floating point, or complex kind of what we say array, so you can also specify the data type into it. Okay, so if you want to know the shape and size of the array, you just type a dot shape, okay, which is a tuple. That means it will return how many rows and how many columns are there. 2 rows, 3 columns. This is how you specify the multi-dimension array. You can create any dimensions, like n dimensions. If you want to modify the array, it's very easy. You can also modify the shape of the array, and it will truncate the array for you. Okay, so this is NumPy. Okay, now so let's just check del NumPy to check all the methods and attributes that are provided by this class to perform the numerical operation. You can perform trigonometric operations, logarithmic operations, sorting, saving, and loading, and let's just see what all we can do. Okay, so we did some dir player here. I just say do dir numpy. Okay, first we need to import it numpy. Okay, so we'll just write it. Just see, right? It has 10h. Okay, so how many methods are there? We'll just see it. Okay, so this, just see, right? So these are like so many things. You can save your variables, you can load the variables from the disk, you can like do whatever not. You can do reshape your array, you can repeat, you can do like reciprocal and other things, right? You can create polynomial fit in it, okay, which is highly used for some data analysis operations. You can check the value of the pi. So let me just try to like do some operations. So okay, as np, and let's just say I create a list. Okay, my list is equals to, okay, let's say we create, so it also provides some a method called random. Okay, yes, first is my list is equals to, so basically it will return everything np dot random. Okay, dot there is nothing called, okay, random integers. Let's say if I generate 100 random numbers, so let's just print it. Okay, so it will return only one. Let's just say if you want to generate 100 numbers, it has generated 100 numbers. So first is like the starting value, ending value, and the number of values. Okay, it has generated number 100 random numbers. Now, if we want to sort it, we have to write our own sorting algorithm. But NumPy provides a method for it. Okay, so my sorted list will be, okay, np dot sort. Okay, so it is what is it? My list. Okay, so now just print my sorted list. Okay, see, right? It's already sorted in the increasing order. You can also provide the order and just check it like its documentation to see how is it that you can sort and do other operations here. Okay, so NumPy is very important in Python. Just explore it, start working with it, and most of the operations you can easily do here. Okay, so for example, if you want to find some sinusoidal value at some point, you can use it. Okay. Okay, so this is about NumPy. I think I just provided a very basic introduction of it, but it is highly important, right? So for example, sorting is not easy. You can do it. Okay, you can provide some, if you want to compute the log of it, you can use NumPy and other things. Okay, so let's just move to the other thing, how to plot and visualize data in Python. I think we are ahead of 1 hour, so I will try to finish it in a few slides. Okay, we will be using matplotlib for it. Okay, it is used to visualize data, and it also uses NumPy arrays as the input. Okay, so to use it, the matplotlib is a package. So from matplotlib package, we will import a class pyplot, and we will use a shorthand notation plt for it. Okay, So so this is how we import matplotlib. So if you want to plot a sinusoidal, what we will be doing is we will be like importing a pyplot class, splt, numpy array, and math, which will be used we will use for computing the value of pi. So let's say if we want to print this sinusoidal, so we can use numpy to generate a sinusoidal for this input x. Okay, np.arrange, it will arrange the 0 to this pi means 3.14 into 2, so which is equals to 7 point something. So 0 to this value, we will generate many numbers with a range of this thing. So let me just like write it. Specify it and import math. Okay, so this will not take much time, so I will just so it's just like np dot arrange. So what we have done is 0 to math dot pi. Okay, you can also take it from numpy, but I have taken it from np dot pi. Okay, so pi is here into 2, and I want to arrange it at the interval of 5. Okay, so let's just print x here. So see the beauty of numpy. It generated from 0 to 6, okay, and with the interval of 0.5. If you want to generate at the interval of 0.05, it will generate so. Okay, so these many values will be generated. Okay, so that means 0, 0.05, and then you add 0.05 to it, and then so on. Okay, so this is the beauty of it. Okay, and then we computed the sinusoidal value of this, and then we use plt.plot xy. Okay, and then the c. Okay, so we just plotted a sinusoidal. Okay, so x label means like we have okay, I like so the x label means at the x-axis you show this value, at the y-axis you show sine value, and the title is the at the above, which is a sine wave, and then we show the plot. Okay, this is how beautiful matplotlib is, and how beautiful numpy is. You can create many operations into it. If you want to generate multiple plots, just see how to do it. The same operations. Okay, what we will do is using is plt.figure. We create a new figure. We can generate two axes, and we can specify its location. Okay, so let's say in the first axis we plot xy, which is sinusoidal, and in the second axis we will plot the cosine of it, not the sinusoidal. Okay, so let's just see this, and you can create multiple axes. It's very useful, very beautiful. Okay, so to create these kind of things, you need a very sophisticated library, which is my matplotlib. Okay, to generate bars, you use axis.bar. So for example, let's say if you want to generate bar plots, you can like create. So for example, let's say you have different machine learning algorithms. You want to show the accuracy of these things, or maybe you want to show the marks of a student in different subjects. So what you can do is you can create an axis. Okay, and you can like show the bar for different labels of all the students. Okay, this is how it will come out. Okay, similarly, to create a pie chart, there is a method access.py, and you can create it the same way. Okay, and other things are like you can create 3D contours, you can create some 3D plot, you can create plot yy. Just see, just use did function and see what all methods are there in pyplot. Okay, and then you will be able to plot something. So matplotlib will be very useful in the in the next lectures that we will be going through, where we will be using data science and machine learning concepts, and see how you can use real world data to perform some operations. Okay, so this is what I had in MATLAB. Okay, so now I will leave you with few of the problems that you can work and leverage whatever we have learned in this lecture. Okay, so let's say the first problem that you can work is replace the domain in your email address. Let's say if I give you narendra at gmail.com as the input domain, let's just try to replace, use a string operations and replace the domain name. So change it to narendra at the rate thinkml.ai. Okay, So how will you do it? You just find the location of the at the rate or maybe gmail.com and just replace it. How will you replace it? Just see how to do it. So another thing that you can do is you can complete the my game that I showed you in one of the slide uh, in classes and objects concept. So just create a grid of 5 cross 5 and include methods to move the player right, left, up, down. Okay, and just show it. Just create the full game. And another thing that you can do is read an image from your local disk and plot it using I'm show function in pyplot. So pyplot not only performs with text data but also with the image data, and you can use im show to show the image. Im read is the method to read the image. Okay, the fourth thing that you can do is create a list of 100 random numbers and sort it using numpy. I think I already showed it to you, but try it in your own. Okay, so it will help you start with the numpy and python libraries. And I think this is what I had in this lecture. This was a basic introduction and some of the advanced data structures in python. Yesterday and today we covered these things, and I think you people leverage these things. uh, So, so this, if you have any questions, please ask so that I can clarify some of these things. And if you don't have any question right now, follow us on Telegram and Instagram. We are taking queries there, and you can ask questions there, and then we will help you rectify your problem. So just try the take-home exercises that I have given you. It will help you start with the Python, and I think this is what I had. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Okay, if you have any future questions, send us a message on Telegram or Instagram. Yeah, so looking at the comment box now, if there is any query, please feel free to ask. Okay, so I think there are no queries. If you have any query, follow us on Instagram at the rate thinkml underscore AI, or on the Telegram t.me because at think underscore AI, because next week we will be we will be conducting two more lectures Python for machine learning, and we will share a registration link on these platforms so that you can receive it and can attend the next lectures. Okay, someone is asking for the feedback link. Yes, please wait for 2 minutes. I'm just sharing it. Okay, so just wait for 2 minutes. Let me just uh, pause the slideshow. Okay, so let me just share the feedback link with you. Okay, so I'm sharing the feedback link here on the chat. So I think I will not be emailing this link with you. So those who want to give the feedback, please fill it here. Okay, this is the feedback link, and I think so. Those who will fill the feedback form will be considered for. Okay, so we have shared the feedback form. Please fill it. This is the feedback form, and like okay, so see you for the next lecture. We will send a registration link on our YouTube channel, and I think so. Not on the YouTube channel, Instagram and Telegram, and you can register there. And the people who will register that will receive a certificate for all the lectures. And stay tuned. See you next time. Okay. So I will be adding this feedback form link on the description of this lecture. Okay. So if there's the the live chat may not exist after some time. So I have just added the description of this video, and you can get the feedback from there. And I think okay, for some reason I'm not able to add the description. So follow, subscribe our YouTube channel. I will add the description and add that for feedback form link there. So see you next time. Okay. Bye bye.